Humanity had taken its place among the stars,
Maya
not
Chen
by
stood on
mimicking
the bridge
those
of the
who came
UVS
before,
Defiant,
but by being
Earth's
unashamed
newest
and most
advanced
defiantly
starship.
human. As it approached the massive
Captain
structure
Jackson
known as the
reported.
Galactic Nexus,
Engage the Nexus.
Maya ordered,
A
her
sprawling
eyes
space
fixed on the
station
future
that
served as the headquarters for the Galactic Alliance, gleamed like a jewel against the backdrop of stars, its elegant spiraling arms extending outward in a display of architectural magnificence that made human structures look primitive by comparison. Receiving transmission from Nexus Control, Lieutenant Okafor announced from the communications station. There, questioning our flight path and vessel classification. Her tone carried a hint of indignation. Maya straightened her uniform and tucked a strand of black hair behind her ear. Put them through. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a being with iridescent scales and compound eyes. The Varaxian tilted its head, mandibles clicking in what Maya had learned was amusement. Human vessel, the controller began. Your approach vector is inefficient. Please adjust to the coordinates we're transmitting and reduce speed. Your primitive propulsion systems are causing disturbances in our docking algorithms. Maya bit back a retort. This was humanity's first official diplomatic mission to the Galactic Alliance after 5 years of limited contact, and she wouldn't jeopardize it by starting an interspecies incident. Acknowledged. Nexus Control. Adjusting course now. She nodded to her pilot, Commander Jackson, who made the changes with a scowl. First contact with the wider galaxy, and they treat us like children playing with toy rockets, Jackson muttered. Calm down, Commander. We knew this wouldn't be easy, Maya said quietly. Humanity's late to the party, by about 2,000 years, according to their records. We have to earn our place. The Defiant docked with surprising gentleness given the supposedly primitive nature of its systems. Maya led her diplomatic team, 5 officers and Dr. Elena Volkov, Earth's foremost xenobiologist, toward the airlock. Remember, Maya told them, we represent not just the United Earth government, but all of humanity. Let's show them what we're made of. The reception committee awaiting them consisted of representatives from 3 species, a Varaxian like the traffic controller, a tall, willowy being with skin like polished alabaster that Maya recognized as a luminary, and a stocky, 4-armed Dravak whose species had been the first to make contact with Earth. Captain Chen. The Dravak greeted her with a formal bow. I am Ambassador Krell. Welcome to the Nexus. Thank you, Ambassador. May I present Dr. Elena Volkov and my officers? The luminary stepped forward, its movements flowing like water. I am Seraph Talon of the Luminary Conclave. Your species' progress is unexpected. From nuclear weapons to rudimentary space travel in less than a century is quite the achievement, even if your technology remains. The alien paused delicately. Quaint. Maya felt her crew stiffen around her, but she maintained her diplomatic smile. We're quick learners, Seraph Talon. The Varaxian made a sound like crystals chiming against each other, their version of laughter. Indeed. Your fusion drives are particularly amusing. The Galactic Alliance abandoned such inefficient methods 8 centuries ago. The Council awaits, Ambassador Krell interrupted, perhaps sensing the rising tension. This way, please. As they walked through the gleaming corridors of the Nexus, Maya and her team drew curious and sometimes condescending looks from the station's diverse inhabitants. The Alliance, they had learned, comprised 27 spacefaring species, all more advanced than humanity. Some, like the Luminary, had been traversing the stars when humans were still figuring out agriculture. The council chamber was a vast amphitheater with tiered seating arranged in a perfect circle. At the center stood a holographic display currently showing a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy, with Alliance territories highlighted in blue. Earth, Maya noted, was a tiny, insignificant dot at the edge of one spiral arm. 7 members of the High Council occupied the most prominent seats. Each represented a founding species of the Alliance and their combined age. Maya had been briefed, exceeded 15,000 years. Humans of Earth, the eldest counselor, a luminary with skin so translucent that Maya could see the pulsing of light beneath it, began. We welcome you to the Galactic Nexus and acknowledge your petition for associate membership in the Alliance. Maya stepped forward. High Counselors, on behalf of the United Earth Government and all humanity, I thank you for this opportunity. We come seeking friendship, knowledge, and peaceful coexistence. The Varaxian counselor's mandibles clicked rapidly. Your species' development has been chaotic. Your historical records indicate a concerning propensity for violence and self-destruction. And your technology. The alien gestured dismissively. Your most advanced vessels still operate on principles we consider rudimentary. With respect, Counselor, Maya replied. Humanity has overcome great challenges to reach this point. We've unified our planet, eliminated poverty, and developed sustainable technologies. We've made mistakes, yes, but we've learned from them. Pretty words, said a counselor of a species Maya didn't recognize, a being composed of what appeared to be living crystal. But actions speak louder. Your ship this, Defiant. Our sensors indicated carries weapon systems. Defensive capabilities only, Maya clarified. Space is vast and unknown. We believed prudence was warranted. Prudence. The crystalline being's facets glinted dangerously. Or aggression. Our records show humanity has never gone more than 25 years without engaging in armed conflict. The debate continued for hours, with the Council questioning every aspect of human society, technology, and history. Maya felt like a student being grilled by particularly stern professors, but she held her ground, answering with honesty and determination. Finally, the eldest luminary raised a hand for silence. We have deliberated and will grant Earth provisional associate status. You will be permitted limited trade rights and cultural exchange, but technology transfers will be restricted until you prove your maturity as a species. It wasn't what they'd hoped for, but it was a start. Maya bowed respectfully. Thank you, High Council. Humanity appreciates this opportunity and will endeavor to earn your trust. As they left the chamber, Dr. Volkov whispered, They see us as children, barely out of our cradles. Then we'll just have to grow up fast, Maya replied. The next 3 days passed in a whirlwind of meetings, cultural exchanges, and diplomatic functions. Maya's team worked tirelessly to establish connections with various Alliance representatives, while she attended security briefings with Alliance military officials who treated human defense strategies as quaint historical curiosities. It was during one such briefing that the alarm sounded. The Alliance admiral, a Dravak named Korva, activated a holographic display. Distress signal from Elysium colony in the Vega sector. They're under attack. The display showed a small agricultural world. Several ships of unknown configuration were in orbit, firing upon the surface. Pirates? Maya asked. Worse, Admiral Korva growled. Arbiters. I'm not familiar with that term, Maya said. Radical purists, explained a luminary commander. They believe that only the original 7 founding species have the right to interstellar travel. They seek to purify the galaxy by eliminating what they call upstart species. Maya felt a chill. How serious a threat are they? Increasingly serious, Korvat admitted. They've attacked 5 colonies in the past year. We've lost ships pursuing them. They have technology we haven't seen before. The Defiant is ready to assist, Maya offered immediately. The Alliance officers exchanged glances. Admiral Korva's forehands made a complicated gesture. Captain Chen, while we appreciate your enthusiasm, this is an Alliance military matter. Your vessel's capabilities would be insufficient. Maya clenched her jaw, but nodded stiffly. I understand. But the offer stands if you change your mind. Later, aboard the Defiant, Maya called her senior officers to the briefing room. The Alliance is facing a threat they won't admit they can't handle, she told them, displaying the information she'd gathered about the Arbiters. These attacks are growing more coordinated and deadly. They made it clear they don't want our help, Commander Jackson pointed out. Yes, But I'm not sure it's just about our technology, Dr. Volkov said. There's something they're not telling us. I've been analyzing the data on these arbiter attacks. The patterns suggest they're targeting specific research facilities, not just colonies of upstart species. Maya nodded. I noticed that too. And the Alliance's response has been slower each time, almost as if they're afraid. Lieutenant Okafor finished. We need more information, Maya decided. Okafor, see what you can discreetly access from the Nexus databases. Dr. Volkov, continue your analysis. I want to know what these arbiters are really after. 24 hours later, alarms blared again across the Nexus. This time, the attack was closer, a research station only 2 light-years away. The Alliance dispatched 3 warships, but refused Maya's renewed offer of assistance. Captain, Okafor reported after hacking into the Alliance's secure communications, I've found something. The research stations being targeted were all working on the same thing, something called the Luminous Protocol. It's some kind of energy technology, but the details are heavily encrypted. And the Elysium colony, Maya asked, had a secret research facility beneath its agricultural surface. Dr. Volkov confirmed, looking up from her datapad. Captain, I think the Alliance is developing a new weapon, and the Arbiters want it. Maya paced the bridge, weighing her options. Earth needed the Alliance, needed the trade routes and diplomatic recognition. But if these Arbiters were as dangerous as they seemed, humanity could be at risk too. Her decision crystallized when the Defiant sensors detected a small ship leaving the Nexus, its energy signature matching those of the Arbiter vessels. They have infiltrators here, she realized. Okafor, can you track that ship without being detected? Yes, Captain. They don't seem to be using any stealth technology. Maybe they don't think they need to, Maya mused. They're arrogant, just like some of our hosts. She straightened her uniform. Plot an intercept course, but keep us outside Alliance sensor range. We're going hunting. Captain, Commander Jackson cautioned, this could be considered interference in Alliance affairs. We could lose our provisional status. Maya met his gaze steadily. Commander, if those Arbiters get whatever weapon the Alliance is developing, we might lose a lot more than that. Sometimes you have to break the rules to do what's right. She turned to the helm. Set course and engage when ready. Let's show the galaxy what a primitive human ship can really do. The price of arrogance. The UEA's Defiant slipped away from the galactic nexus, its departure masked by a convenient solar flare from the system's star. Captain Maya Chen stood at the tactical display, watching as Lieutenant Okafor tracked the Arbiter vessel's warp signature. They're heading toward the Cygnus Void, Okafor reported. That region is marked as restricted in Alliance databases. The perfect place to hide a secret base, Maya observed. Time to intercept. At maximum sustainable warp, 14 hours, Commander Jackson answered. But Captain, once we leave Alliance communication range, we're on our own. Maya nodded. I'm aware, Commander. Send a coded message to Earth Command. Tell them what we found and what we're doing. If we don't report back in 72 hours, they should alert the Alliance Council. As the Defiant pursued its quarry, Dr. Volkov continued analyzing the fragments of data they'd obtained about the mysterious Luminous Protocol. It's extraordinary, she told Maya in the captain's ready room. From what I can piece together, the Alliance has discovered a way to manipulate subspace on a quantum level, creating what they call dimensional fractures. Meaning what exactly? Maya asked, nursing a cup of coffee. Meaning they could potentially create weapons that don't just destroy matter. They erase it from existence by shifting it into another dimensional plane. Volkov's eyes were wide with both scientific fascination and horror. The energy requirements would be astronomical, but for a civilization as advanced as the Alliance, not impossible. Maya set down her cup slowly. And if the Arbiters get this technology, they could target any world they consider unworthy and simply make it vanish. Volkov finished grimly. No wonder the Alliance is frightened. 10 hours into their pursuit, the Defiant's sensors detected a surge of energy ahead. "Captain, to the bridge." Jackson's voice came over the comm. Maya arrived to find her bridge crew staring at the main view screen in shock. Where there should have been empty space, a massive tear in the fabric of reality pulsed with coruscating energy. "What am I looking at, people?" Maya demanded. "It appears to be a dimensional rift, Captain," Science Officer Park reported. "Readings indicate extreme subspace distortions. Nothing in our database matches this phenomenon." "The Arbiter vessel is heading straight for it," Okafor added. "And they're through. The rift is starting to close." Maya made a split-second decision. "Follow them in." "Captain," Jackson protested, "we have no idea what's on the other side." "And we never will if that rift closes," Maya countered. "This could be our only chance to find out what the Arbiters are planning." "Take us in." Maximum impulse. The Defiant plunged into the swirling maelstrom of energy. For a moment, every system on the ship fluctuated wildly. The hull groaned under stresses it was never designed to withstand. Then, abruptly, they emerged into what appeared to be normal space, except the star patterns were completely unfamiliar. "Where are we?" Maya asked. Her voice hushed. "Unknown, Captain," Park answered, checking his instruments. "These stars don't match any charted sector. According to these readings, we're not in our galaxy anymore." "The Arbiter ship," Okafor interrupted. "I've got it on sensors. It's heading toward a planetary system about half a light year away." "Follow, but maintain distance," Maya ordered. "I want to see what they're up to before they know we're here." The planetary system they approached consisted of 3 worlds orbiting a red dwarf star. The second planet showed signs of artificial structures visible even from orbit. "A base," Jackson confirmed. "And look at this. There are at least 30 ships in orbit. These aren't just raiders. This is an armada." Maya studied the tactical display with growing concern. The Arbiter vessels were larger and more numerous than Alliance intelligence had indicated. This wasn't a fringe group. It was an organized military force. "Are they detecting us?" she asked. "Negative, Captain," Okafor replied. "We're holding position just outside their sensor range. But there's something strange about those ships. They're emitting energy signatures similar to the rift we passed through." "They've already weaponized the technology," Maya realized. Dr. Volkov was right. "Captain," Park called out, his voice tense. "I'm detecting a massive power buildup in the largest vessel. They're charging some kind of weapon array." The main view screen showed the Arbiter command ship, a blade-shaped monstrosity that dwarfed the Defiant. As it positioned itself in orbit around the system's outermost planet, a pinpoint of blinding light began to form at its prow. "Analysis," Maya demanded. "The energy readings are off the scale," Park reported. "Whatever they're doing, it's creating the same kind of dimensional distortion we encountered in the rift." "They're testing the weapon," Maya concluded, "on an uninhabited planet before they use it on populated worlds." The bridge fell silent as they watched the distant point of light grow in intensity. Then, without warning, it lanced out toward the planet. Where the beam struck, reality itself seemed to fold inward. The effect spread rapidly across the planet's surface like ripples in a pond. And then, impossibly, the planet was simply gone. Not destroyed, erased as if it had never existed. "My God," Jackson whispered. Maya felt cold dread settle in her stomach, but her voice remained steady. "Record everything. We need to bring this evidence back to Earth and the Alliance." "Captain," Okafor said urgently, "they've detected us. Multiple ships are breaking orbit and heading our way." "Time to go," Maya ordered. "Maximum warp, back toward the rift coordinates." The Defiant turned and accelerated, but the pursuing Arbiter vessels were faster. "They're gaining on us," Jackson reported grimly. "Weapons range in 40 seconds. Maya's mind raced. The Defiant was outgunned and outnumbered. Running wasn't an option. Fighting conventionally was suicide. "Park," she said suddenly, "the dimensional technology they're using, could we disrupt it somehow?" The science officer frowned in concentration. "Theoretically, yes. Our quantum torpedoes operate by creating a temporary subspace inversion. If we modify them to resonate at the same frequency as the Arbiter's dimensional field, we could trigger a cascade reaction in their weapons," Volkov finished, catching on. "But Captain, that kind of modification would require us to get dangerously close." Maya nodded. "I know. Jackson, bring us about. We're going to face them." The bridge crew stared at her in disbelief. "That's an order," Maya said firmly. "Park, Volkov, work on those torpedo modifications. Okafor, I need a precise targeting solution on their command ship's weapon array. Commander Jackson, evasive maneuvers, pattern Delta 6. Keep them guessing until we're ready." The next 10 minutes were a desperate dance of survival. The Defiant twisted and turned through space, narrowly avoiding the energy beams fired by the pursuing Arbiter vessels. 2 glancing hits strained the ship's shields to their limits. "Torpedo modifications complete," Park announced. "Targeting solution locked," Okafor added. "But Captain, we'll have to get within 2,000 kilometers to guarantee effectiveness." "That's practically point-blank range," Jackson protested. "It's our only chance," Maya replied. "Take us in." The Defiant dove toward the massive Arbiter command ship, which was now charging its dimensional weapon again, this time aimed at the human vessel. "They're targeting us," Okafor warned. 15 seconds to weapon discharge." "Hold course," Maya ordered, her knuckles white as she gripped her chair. "Steady, steady." The distance closed rapidly. 5,000 kilometers. 4,000. 3. Fire torpedoes. The Defiant launched its full complement of modified quantum torpedoes just as the Arbiter weapon reached critical charge. The torpedoes struck the weapon array precisely as it began to discharge. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, the fabric of space around the Arbiter command ship began to warp and distort. The dimensional energy collapsed inward, creating a feedback loop that tore through the vessel's structure. "Get us out of here, maximum warp," Maya shouted. The Defiant leaped away as the Arbiter ship imploded, creating a dimensional shockwave that ripped through the attacking fleet. Ships vanished one after another, caught in the same technology they had planned to use against innocent worlds. When it was over, the Defiant limped back toward the rift, which was beginning to destabilize. "Damage report," Maya requested. "Shields at 12%, Jackson replied. "Warp drive operating at 60% efficiency. Hull breaches on decks 4 and 5, but emergency force fields are holding. Casualties: 7 injured, no fatalities." Maya nodded, relief washing through her. "Get us through that rift before it collapses completely." The journey back was rougher than their passage through, but the Defiant emerged into familiar space, just as the dimensional tear sealed itself behind them. "Set course for the Galactic Nexus," Maya ordered. "Maximum sustainable speed." When the Defiant docked at the Nexus 3 days later, a full contingent of Alliance security forces was waiting. So was the High Council. Captain Chin, the eldest luminary counselor, addressed her, its voice cold. "You violated restricted space, ignored direct orders, and interfered in Alliance security matters. Explain yourself." Maya stepped forward, her uniform still bearing the marks of battle. "High Counselors, I did what was necessary to protect not just humanity, but all species of this galaxy." She gestured to Dr. Volkov, who activated a holographic display showing the destruction of the planet by the Arbiter weapon. Gasps echoed through the assembled dignitaries. The Arbiters had already weaponized the Luminous Protocol, Maya continued. They were preparing to use it against Alliance worlds. My ship tracked them, gathered intelligence, and when necessary, took action to prevent genocide. "Impossible," the Varaxian counselor chittered. "How could a primitive human vessel defeat technology even we struggle to contain?" Maya allowed herself a small smile. Sometimes, counselor, innovation comes from necessity rather than superiority. My crew adapted our quantum torpedoes to create a dimensional resonance cascade. Simple physics, applied creatively. She stepped closer to the council days. You called us primitive. You dismissed our capabilities and our worth. But while your ships hesitated, the Defiant acted. We may not have your advanced technology or your millennia of history, but humanity has qualities the Alliance needs. Courage, ingenuity, and the will to do what's right, even when it's difficult. A long silence followed. Finally, the eldest luminary spoke again, its tone considerably warmer. Perhaps we have underestimated your species, Captain Chen. The Alliance has grown, complacent over the centuries. Your actions, while unorthodox, may have saved countless lives. The Council will need time to process this information and determine its implications, the crystalline being added. But it seems we have much to learn from each other. 3 weeks later, Maya stood on the Defiance Bridge as the ship prepared to depart for Earth. The Council had not only confirmed Earth's associate status, but had upgraded it to full membership, the fastest such elevation in Alliance history. Captain, Okafor called from her station. Incoming transmission from the Nexus. The view screen activated to show Admiral Korva, the Dravak who had once dismissed the Defiant as insufficiently advanced. Captain Chen, Korva said, all 4 arms crossing his chest in a gesture of respect. The Alliance Fleet Academy is establishing a new tactical division focused on unconventional problem-solving and adaptation. We would be honored if you would consider an advisory position. Maya smiled. I'm flattered, Admiral. I'll certainly consider it after debriefing with Earth Command. As the transmission ended, Commander Jackson approached her chair. Quite a change in attitude, he observed. Nothing earns respect like saving someone from their own arrogance, Maya replied. Set course for home, Commander. We have a lot to report. As the Defiant broke orbit, Maya gazed at the Nexus one last time. The Alliance had stood for 15,000 years, united by technological superiority and ancient traditions. Now, a new species had joined their ranks, one that reminded them that sometimes innovation came from the most unexpected places, and that wisdom wasn't always a function of age. Humanity had taken its place among the stars not by mimicking those who came before, but by being unashamedly, defiantly human. Course laid in, Captain, Jackson reported. Engage, Maya ordered, her eyes fixed on the future.